It's the end of the exhibition season for Indiana, and it's Inside Indiana Overtime. Alex McCarthy, John Bauerfeind as always from Inside Indiana, and we just watched Indiana beat Indianapolis from right up the road, 76-63 in tonight's exhibition game, and it really started off like it was going to be kind of dicey for IU. They got down 17-6 early on.
Not even 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, Indy was hitting basically every shot. They were unstoppable.
I want to say they missed their first shot and then they started 7 of 10. So what is that? 7 of 9 the next 9 shots.
Yeah.
Great start, but IU finished the half on a 22-0 run, spurred by point guards Kevin Yogi Farrell and Rob Johnson. Johnson actually finished with a double-double, 15 points on 6 for 6 shooting and 10 rebounds. Played a near perfect game, had a few steals, and just looked pretty dominant. Yogi he tied for a game high 19 points, 7-11 shooting. No, it's exhibition games. You don't want to get too much into it. Yogi's playing, in my opinion, a lot freer.
Yeah.
When he drives, there's more of a purpose to kick. Last year he would finish at the rim, but I mean, then again, he's listed at 5'11". Not going to finish too much, and he found, like he did in last exhibition game last Thursday, just at least 10 to 15, something like that, wide open 3-pointers for his teammates.
Yeah, he got into the flow of the game at a certain point and basically did everything. I mean, he was driving, he hit a couple threes, and some of the passes, I mean, from time to time, Yogi makes passes that are just totally mind-boggling. There are a few of those tonight. But Rob Johnson also looks great. I mean, he's kind of been thrown into the backup point guard role, if you will. Whenever Farrell gets out or goes out for a rest or whatever, Johnson brings up the ball, and he threw a couple dimes tonight too. He had a couple really nice passes, but like you said, I mean, he was perfect. He didn't miss a shot from anywhere. 6 for 6 overall, 2 for 2 from behind the arc. I think he only had one free throw, but he made that.
Yeah.
Two free.
I will say an interesting thing about Rob Johnson playing the point is that when I talked to him in September for the Inside Indiana Basketball Guide, he said the biggest thing he's working on at that point in time was just keeping his eyes up when he dribbled, and that's it's not to rag on Rob Johnson, but that seems like something a point guard or even like a combo guard should be able to do. And even Cream brought it up tonight, talking about his vision and keeping his eyes up. He seemed to have no problem doing that. Looked comfortable handing the ball, and though when Yogi was in, the offense ran more smoothly. But I thought Johnson did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and his shot looked awesome tonight. Yes. I mean, there was one long two that he hit and got fouled, and it was just a piece of artwork. It was really, really impressive. And then obviously he hit the free throw after that. Johnson and Farrell kind of had the flashier, kind of high scoring, nice passing, etc. nights. But a night that really got some attention was Collin Hartman, because obviously he tore his ACL March 15th, and this is November 10th. And he's already back playing the most minutes of his career. He played 18 tonight, and I think his previous high was like 12, 11, 13, something like that. Obviously this doesn't really count as a career high because it's exhibition, and these things don't really count. But the fact that he was able to play almost half the game after a torn ACL, and he played really, really well. He was hitting a couple shots. He was playing really good defense. He blocked a couple shots, got a couple steals.
Your classic glue guy, man.
Yeah, classic glue guy, which is really what Indiana wanted out of him. I mean, Indiana didn't recruit Collin Hartman to score 15 points a game and be a lockdown post defender or something like that. They got him for basically nights like this. He was 3 for 3 overall, hit both of the 3-pointers he attempted. It finished with 8 points, which is last year during the season he scored 11 points. So tonight maybe it was kind of an indication of things to come. Crean and Farrell were kind of talking after the game about how dominant of a player Hartman was in high school. Yogi kind of laughed or smiled a little bit as he said, he looked like his old self tonight. That he was kind of doing a lot of the things that maybe don't make the highlight reels that you're going to see after the game, that don't really get the crowd too fired up. I mean, the couple blocks he had really got people going, especially the first one, I think, and he was cheesing after that one. But just a night for him that's very, very encouraging for Indiana, especially Indiana that's kind of been beat up and banged up. Jeremiah April, obviously Devin Davis, whose injury is obviously at a different level. But Max Hotzel, speaking of injuries, played tonight sparingly. Both he and Hartman were on minute limits, so they played. Hotzel played kind of sparingly, but he looked okay. He was apparently his injury in practice came from him trying to dunk on Hunter Perea, and apparently he didn't learn his lesson whatsoever. There were a couple times tonight where he just drove right at
First times
defenders.
he got the ball, too.
Yeah, and one of them down at the north end, he just kind of winds up and tries to jump over a guy and tomahawk it. It was nowhere close. It was
stuff really bad.
It was ridiculous. I mean, he threw the ball and it hit the rim, but he got fouled, and I think he made both shots. So it kind of worked. But you would think if you injured yourself in practice trying to dunk on somebody, you would stop doing that. But that seems to kind of be the guy Hotzel is. He's a confident guy. He's not going to back away from anything. So I guess he's going to be kind of an exciting player to watch. He doesn't really have the sheer athleticism to do that, like a Troy Williams or something like that. But
a little bit of a wild card.
Yes, very much of a wild card. Very much Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Yeah. Wild card.
Just seems like he's always looking to score, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Right. He always wants to do something exciting, which is really entertaining to watch. Maybe not as maybe Tom Crean probably wasn't as entertained as some of us watching Hotzel kind of jump all over the place, but. Again, it's kind of a well-rounded effort for IU. 4 players, 4 of the starters are in double digits tonight. Spreading the ball around. Ball movement at times got a little laggy, a little stagnant. And really, I thought really the main concern today was the rebounding effort, especially on the defensive glass. Because in the second half, UIndy kind of got back into the game a little bit by a lot of putbacks, a lot of offensive boards, extending possessions. They shot horribly in the second half, but they were able to stay in the game just from getting a sheer number of shots from offensive boards.
Out-rebounded IU 41-35 and had 22 offensive rebounds, which is actually 3 more than how many defensive rebounds they had. And, obviously with the suspensions of Troy, and he's out, and then Emmett, and obviously with Devin Davis not being able to play, that's going to be a problem. And Hunter picked up 2 early fouls within the first 5 minutes of the game. Didn't pick up another one. But then again, he can't really contest every single shot, trying to pick up a foul, even, going after rebounds and stuff. So yeah, luckily it didn't, hurt the Hoosiers, although they did only win by 13 points.
Yeah, true. And this is a pretty good, at least offensive team.
That's true.
In UIndy, we saw that early on in the first 10, 12 minutes where they were just hitting everything. But I thought this was a pretty good test for IU, at least more so than it was against Northwood, where they started slowly and then still won by whatever it was, 24. Tonight, IU kind of had to dig itself out of a hole. They had to, like you said, Hunter Perea had a little bit of foul trouble early, and they had to deal with that, which is something that really is going to be a key for a team that doesn't really have that many front court options. But I thought it was a fairly good kind of warm-up, which is exactly what you want, obviously, your exhibitions to be. But the regular season starts, what is it, Friday?
Hey, Alden. Friday, 7 p.m., Mississippi Valley State.
Yeah, so that'll be, all the stats will be official then. If Hartman plays 18 minutes, that will be his official career high, things like that. We're obviously going to be there, and we're going to have full coverage leading up to it this week. So, exciting things are happening here at Assembly Hall. The women's season gets started with the regular season the day after the men's season. We'll probably have coverage of that. Rutgers, IU, everything you want. So we'll be back, obviously, very soon. But again, Indiana 76, UIndy 63 tonight here from Assembly Hall. For John Bauernfeind, I'm Alex McCarthy, and you guys have a good week.